The alveoli in the lungs where gas exchange takes place are very delicate. The respiratory system has several ways of protecting this important tissue. Air entering the alveoli must be warm, moist, and very clean. The first line of defense is the nose and the nasal cavity. Taking a closer look at the nose, we see there are nose hairs. These tend to block larger objects from getting in. Now we'll look at a sample of air we're about to breathe in. The air that fills the nasal cavity is the same temperature as the outside air, which is usually cooler than our body. But there are many blood vessels close to all the membranes in the nasal cavity. The blood is warmer than the surrounding air. So heat flows from the blood vessels into the air in the nasal passage and warms it as it goes through. The air continues to be warmed on its way to the lungs. By the time it reaches the alveoli, it is at or very close to body temperature. A very important cleaning process is carried out on a membrane lining the inner surfaces of the trachea and bronchi. Let's consider this spot on the inside of the trachea wall. Taking a closer look, we see it is lined with cells which have sweeping cilia. There's a watery layer just inside of these. And inside of that, a layer of sticky mucus is constantly being swept upward by cilia. Foreign particles that have made their way inside the respiratory system stick to this mucus layer and are carried upward toward the pharynx, where they are swallowed and broken down in the stomach. But where does this mucus come from? It comes from mucus-producing cells in this membrane. Two of them are shown here. Watch as these secrete mucus that is added to the layer. Membranes with cilia and mucus are also found in other parts of the upper respiratory system. For example, if we consider this spot on the inside surface of the nasal cavity and take a closer look, we see it also has a layer of mucus that is swept down toward the pharynx by the cilia. The mucus picks up foreign particles and carries them down with it. This helps clean inhaled air as it makes its way toward the lungs. The mucus layer in our respiratory system contains some water. So as air passes through the system, it gradually absorbs water vapor from the mucus. In this way, it has enough moisture by the time it reaches the lungs. We can see another type of defense the respiratory system has by looking at the alveoli. If we zoom into the membrane of an alveolus, we see a type of cell attached to the membrane. This type of cell is called a macrophage and is sometimes called a dust cell. Sometimes small particles of dust or even carbon particles from polluted air or smoke can make their way into the alveoli. A macrophage can change shape and engulf these particles and trap them, so they cause no harm. A macrophage can also capture bacteria that make it to the alveoli. Here the bacterium is engulfed and destroyed by the macrophage.